Welcome to Sideline Sports, your best place for any sports. As we say, we are the people's version of an organization that shall remain unnamed. I'm Jake. I got my two co-hosts, John, JB. Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight?
JB.
John, I'm
John,
doing
you're
good.
so quiet.
I'm a little scared. But anyway, I'm actually doing really well. It's Tuesday night. You pulled us a four-letter word.
We're better than
I
that.
know plenty of four-letter words.
The
To
Rangers.
be fair, I said an organization. I didn't just say a four-letter word. I'm not that mean.
No, but, I'm watching some good hockey, trying to get some good news after a crazy day. So all is good in the world. I see some ugly-looking sweatshirts to my left. I'm a little scared. But go ahead, John. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. It's been a couple rough days in the sports business, with the Hurricanes losing, then the Heat losing in back-to-back days. Man, it's been rough. But the Orioles, Orioles have been winning. They won last night against a certain team from New York.
And John, let me really quickly. It's not been rough in the sports world. It's John's sports world. Let's clarify
that's all that
that
matters.
Let's clarify this for the viewers. This is not just a sports world. This is or the
sports world. It's the sports world.
No. Real quick, before we get going, anybody watching, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. Just want to throw that out. Shameless plug. I'm not sorry about it. Got to be said.
It's all down in that bottom row in case you guys missed it.
Oh, yeah.
Jake has hooked us up that we have the best ticker in sports. Forget about scores. This is the important stuff. Because you want to find out what's happening in sports, go to one of these social medias, follow us, like us, talk to us. Well, don't talk to John. You'll just go crazy.
Don't talk to John. Don't ever talk to John. Bad idea.
But you'll find out everything that's important in sports.
All right. Well, with that said, that shameless plug put out there that we're not sorry for doing because that's what we got to do. John, we got to talk about the series that is currently going on between us. And you know what? I'm going to start, and I'm going to say very few words, but I'll make my point quickly. This is exactly what I expected. The Canes are not good on the road. The Rangers are good at home. I said 6 games. This is realistically 6 to 7 games, the way things are playing out. The Rangers are playing with house money. I don't expect them to win the series still. I think they're playing well, but it's not well enough to win. Simple. I'm happy, though, because you know what? For a young team, these are big wins. And, John, you know about that. You know how that feels. Having been in this position just a couple of years ago, getting those big wins when that team is young, it's going to help them advance in the next couple of years.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that. It's just, 6 at max it's going to be because, there's just no way that the Rangers win this. They would have to go into Carolina and win a game, which is not happening. They're not doing that. They already lost 2 games in Carolina, so that's 2 out the door. Then they got to play game 5 in Carolina, which they're not going to win that. So, like I said, 6 at max.
So, John, I'm going to disagree with you about that real quick.
Train
but hold on. I'm going to disagree with you real quick for one reason, that there's a reason it could go 7. The Canes have not yet won a single game as at the time of this recording. Game 4 is currently live, so anything could happen despite the Rangers being up 2-0 with about 4 minutes left in the second period. All right, hold on.
Will Vogue's, he's like the Johnny Depp. He's the good guy.
Out of order. Will, you're not even on the show. You haven't done anything. You're out of order, sir. Anyway, back to what I was saying. The Canes, at the current moment, again, I can't predict the future. They haven't yet won a game on the road in these playoffs. They lost all the games in Boston. They've lost the only game that's been played in full in New York at the time of this recording. As if things go as they are proceeding now, they will have lost yet another game on the road. The Canes are struggling to win on the road. It's simple. It's just the way it is. I've watched them play. And, John, I know you don't really get to watch the games as much. You might listen to them. And that's fine.
Yeah, I can listen. I can't watch.
And I'm not taking anything against that. It doesn't matter. But having watched it, the Canes play much better at home. Defensively, they play incredible at home. Defensively on the road, they haven't been playing the same way. They haven't been, and I say that because when they play well defensively, that's where they get their offensive chances. They're a team that plays well on defense, forces odd man rushes. That's you, sir, did one thing very simple. Go Canes was a disgusting
Yes, go
statement.
Canes. Jake, say
So-
it again. Go Canes.
so-
I heard
So
that.
So
I'm
real
going to
quick-
interrupt you.
Let
Let
me
me
clip
interrupt you. real
that
quick.
and
I just
play
want
it
to finish by
forever.
saying this. I think 7 is a realistic possibility, assuming things continue to go the way they are. And I say that simply because these teams are playing better at home than they are on the road. It feels like the
3-0
series is going to
Rangers.
be. It feels like it's going to be.
Did you
the
just see
home
what I
team
said?
wins every
3
single game,
nothing.
period.
3-0 Rangers. This game is in the bag. And John, let me go
Are you
back
ahead
to
of-
game 1. Let me
Hold
go
on,
back to
3-0.
game
What are
1.
you talking about?
They just scored with
Oh,
3-12.
you're ahead of me. You
Second.
suck.
Let me go back to game 1, the game that you stole at home. That if I was a Canes fan right now,
Win's a win.
yes, but when you win in the playoffs and it's a stolen game, you have to be worried that you could lose a game at home. The Rangers, the 2 games at home, there's been nothing that worried me. They have game 6 at home. All they got to do is take 1 out of 2 in Carolina. Easy
That's
path to
all
victory.
they have to do. Like, that's an easy task.
They almost took game 1.
The Heat blew a 26-point lead.
Oh, hold on.
Against
Do
the
not
Celtics.
compare. Do not compare the Heat
Still won
to the
their
Rangers.
game. The Celtics came within 1 with less than 2 minutes ago. Heat still held on to win that game. I'm not sweating. I'm not like, well, the Heat stole a game.
Okay,
The
so with
Celtics were
5
gonna
minutes,
steal
with 5
themselves.
minutes to go in game 1, you thought you were going to win that game down 1-0?
I always am confident in my team, JB. I never give up.
Okay,
Never.
so
I don't sweat it.
I remember.
So he's delusional.
I
Sweat.
remember way back when I had Carolina in a bet at Detroit. Oh, I would have never bet them. That's a game they're going to lose. You're
You
always
never bet
confident.
on you never bet on your own team.
If you're always confident in your team, you wouldn't have said that. So
That's
I
a,
don't bet on my own team.
That's not what he's saying, though. You're not, John. In that scenario, you weren't
Look,
betting
regular
any
season
money.
and playoffs are different.
Oh, with the excuses, John. Regular season, you guys kicked our butts.
Yeah.
Playoffs, we're currently.
But
You know,
there's
on the
games in
way-
the regular
hold
season
on.
where you kind of feel like the team's
John.
gonna have like a letdown
John,
in the regular season.
John,
You know
John,
how that
John,
goes.
John.
It's kind of like when you win the first 2 of a 3-game series in baseball. You know that third game you're not winning that game.
right
I'm gonna-
now, after this, after the Rangers finish out this
Hold
game,
on, JB, real quick. I have to say this. The Canes are currently 0-4 on the road with a -13 goal differential. And at home, they were, hold on, sorry. At home, they're 6-0 with a +15 goal differential.
Thank you.
That is,
okay. So
why are
getting
you
back
saying
to what I'm
thank you?
saying,
That proves our point.
because JB thinks that you guys can come in and beat us in
John?
Carolina.
John, you're missing what we're saying.
John, they have
I'm
2
saying at
chances.
least.
They almost took one already.
Hold on.
with-
Almost only
They-
counts in horseshoes and hand grenades.
Oh, John, you're missing what I'm saying, though. And that was not to prove JB's point. That was to prove my own point, which is the Canes do not play nearly as well on the road. And so realistically,
But
it's
who
going to go
does?
7.
Who does? What team typically plays better on the
They're-
road?
I didn't say they play better. I said they don't play well.
They're night and day.
There's a
That's
difference.
most
Yeah,
teams.
yeah, there's a difference because
Uh,
I could look up goal differentials for most teams left in the playoffs, and most teams would not have that bad of a differential. That's really bad,
Are
John.
you sure?
They-
You could look it up.
I'm pretty confident about that. I'll happily give me a team and I'll look them up right now.
Any team but the Lightning.
So
Go with
give me
the
just-
go with the
I'll take
Flames.
Flames. Okay.
Yeah, go with the Flames.
Okay. So keep talking while I look for this.
John, I don't get your confidence that you think it's definitely over. You almost lost the game at home. The Rangers have done nothing but beat you crazily at home. So
And what about in
So
Carolina?
that just
They
that just
lost
proves
both.
that we get to a game 7. Game 7, anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Right,
But
and you
for the
guys
Rangers,
already
it won't.
almost lost at home. What aren't you getting about that?
But we didn't. We didn't lose.
But you're missing
But
what
you-
he's saying, I think.
Sean, follow along.
I'm following, but I'm
Are
just
you?
saying the result. The Canes won both games, so I'm not sweating. I don't
You don't-
worry about it.
You don't think there's a difference between a good win and a bad win?
In the playoffs, a win is a win.
Absolutely not.
You take in the
Tom-
7-game series, you take what you can get.
Absolutely not.
It's not always pretty. It's never pretty in the playoffs. So, I mean, like I said, in hockey, you take what you can get. In basketball and baseball, you take what you can get. That's just how it is. The Royals, when they won their title, it wasn't pretty. They just scrapped across runs here and there, and they found a way to get it done. Like Sometimes that's what you got to do in the playoffs. You just got to do what it takes to win these games. That's all that
So
matters.
you're confident in a team that scraps across runs that they're going to go out there and win?
If you're winning games in the playoffs, I mean,
That wasn't my question.
who can argue with that?
You were confident that Royals team was going to win?
That wasn't my team, and they played my Orioles. I was confident my Orioles would win because I thought my Orioles were the better team, which they were the better team, but Zach Britton decided to walk the bases loaded the top of the ninth and then let them tie it up, so.
John, I think you may want to remember Game 2. I think that may be the last win.
That was Game 2. I remember that.
You may want to remember Game 2. That may be the last time you see a Carolina Hurricanes win a game this year.
I'll remember that. I have receipts.
That's a little bold, JB.
What did I say? 6 games from the start. So
it's the same guy that was talking. And after Game 1, he didn't talk. Then after Game 2, he didn't talk. Then he came back and he's talking now.
I didn't talk. We haven't spoke any hockey.
Yeah, that's okay. All right.
Real quick, I can't find any stats. It's not a common stat. The only reason I found the other stat, I was watching the game and they put it up on the screen.
Put it up, yeah.
Yeah, it's not one of those things I found. But real quick, I can tell you one thing. In the first round, the Flames actually scored more goals on the road. They scored 8 goals to 7. Now, it's very close, but just saying, they did, technically speaking, score more goals on the road. Now, this series has been very different, and I will talk about it in a moment because I have plenty to say. They have scored more goals at home by a mile. I mean, granted, they scored 9 goals in Game 1, so that's a bit of an inflated number.
That'll do it.
But nonetheless, my point is, actually, they did score more on the road, technically speaking. It's not by a lot. It was by 1 goal. But to answer your question, it does happen. But yeah, I mean, John, a minus 13 goal differential is really, that's rough.
I'm not worried about it. They're right now, the Hurricanes have the best seed in the Eastern Conference, so which means they have home ice. They don't have to win a road game.
Yeah, you're right.
They don't have to win a road game to get to the Stanley Cup.
Which means they have to win every game at home, which they almost lost one because they didn't play that
so
good.
Back to JB's point, real quick. To his point, that was not a win that you should be happy about. Or rather, that's not true. Let me rephrase that. You shouldn't be proud of it. You should be happy you won it, but you should be no
confidence left in you.
Because I watched that game in full, John. The Rangers outplayed the Canes for more than half of that game. Now, you guys came out on top because I told you you're the better team. That wasn't why you came out, but that's what happens. You guys gained momentum at the end. It didn't matter where you were playing. It just happened to be you gained momentum. I would not be proud of that win. Game 2, I'd be proud of. You guys played us just considerably better. But you played much better in Game 2. You played like you did at the end of Game 1. But Game 1, the Rangers had your number for a majority of that game, which is why I wouldn't be proud. Like, for me, I'm very proud of the Rangers. Why? They're up 3-0 at home against a team that is considerably better than them. Just as a general statement, right? They're much better,
See,
as a
I
whole.
heard all this same thing when the Heat were playing the Sixers last round. And the Heat were up 2-0. Sixers won the next 2 games.
John,
and all
stop
I heard
comparing
was
other
blabbing
stories.
From Sixer fans and
John,
Heat haters
John,
the entire time. And I
John,
told him,
you can't compare the 2 sports.
No,
They're
I
totally
told
different.
And the Heat are the higher seed, much like the Canes. And I said the entire time, I'm not worried. We have Game 5 in our back pocket. We're the better team, and we're going to come out on top. And I was right about that series.
The Rangers don't have Harden on the team
here, huh?
The Rangers don't have Harden on the team. They don't have that issue.
It's also, John, I don't think you can compare the 2 sports because in hockey, 1 goal, 1 play can make all the difference and completely change a series on its head. Basketball, 1 play is likely not going to do that. 1 basket is not going to change the series in general. Granted, there are times where it can, but for the most part, for the most part,
I'm not talking about just 1 basket in that series. I'm just
I know
saying,
that, but my point is that the 2 are very different. That I'm saying 1 play, like in football, 1 play can change everything. 1 goal, 1 play in hockey can change everything. 1 play, 1 home run, 1 hit in baseball can change everything.
I understand.
Basketball is the only sport that it was, but I'm saying that to say you really can't fairly compare them because of the fact that one play cannot make the difference in the same nature. It's not entirely.
It's not as likely.
Well,
It-
it's not
but
that
it
it's not as
can.
likely.
It can, definitely can. It's just not
It's-
as likely.
It's different. The way one play happens is very different. That's my point.
Right. I'm just saying he were up 2-0, blew their lead, became 2-2. Sixers fans are in their mouth. I said, just wait. I was patient. Same thing. We ended up winning in 6. It's
Right,
going to
but-
happen the same thing in this series. We win game 5, dominate game 5, then it's going to be 3-2. You guys will be on your heels.
Do you really
You
think
haven't-
you're going to win at home?
What
Because
game
the
have you
Rangers have
dominated?
played. Hold on.
Wait, what game have you dominated so far in the series?
I said we're going to dominate.
No, but
game
he
5.
makes a fair point. What game have you truly dominated in this series? And when I say dominate, give me a 3-goal win, a 4-goal win. Like
I would say a shutout's a domination. I mean,
No,
yeah,
no.
you shut somebody out.
I don't know.
That's
No.
as
That's-
dominating as it can
I
get.
wouldn't say it's domination, though. I would say that was outplaying, but there's a difference. Like, I would say the Oilers and Flames are a great example. Game 1 ended 9-6, but the Flames just dominated the Oilers. I mean, they were just all over them. They scored 9 goals. I mean, good Lord.
Of course.
Okay,
It
Game
doesn't
7 in the Calgary and Star Series, they dominated. They won 3-2, but the way they played, they
Oh,
just
yeah.
were.
But you shut somebody out in hockey, in my opinion. That's flat out domination. They
I don't
it's
think
not.
so,
put
though.
anything
Not
in the
at
back
all.
of the net.
Because the Rangers had plenty of chances. They still, yes, there was a team that was better, but the Rangers could have easily, taken that game from you just because it was a 1-goal game for most of the game. That's my point. I'm
But
talking
you
about.
didn't. That's it. That's like what if?
Well,
But you didn't.
my point is you're a better team. But that ultimately the
Thank
point I'm making is you didn't dominate us. You played a better game, and there's a difference. The Rangers are dominating you right now. It's 3-0. They're absolutely obliterating you. Guys are, they're blocking shots, they're making plays, they're doing everything right. The Canes are doing everything wrong right now.
They're a hungry team. I would not want to be playing them. Carolina,
I wouldn't wanna
start
play them
packing
at
your
home.
bags.
I wouldn't want to play the Rangers at home. That's what I wouldn't want to do.
It just sucks that we have to play extra games to get to the Lightning. That's all I'll say.
I mean, John, I hate to
Sucks
tell
we have
you,
play extra.
I'm going to say this, though.
Wait, you never
I
had to
guess-
play extra games. You could have won 4, but you guys can't
That's what I'm
because you're
saying.
not good enough.
We have to play these extra games to get to the Lightning. That's
Extra games.
That's,
They're not extra
no,
games.
No, that's
Yeah.
that's
Instead
a
of
silly
winning
statement,
it
John.
in 4, we're winning it in 6. It's 2 extra games.
Right, but whose fault is that?
I'm just saying that sucks because
Hold on,
Lightning
John.
are
Answer my
resting.
question. Whose fault is that?
I'm just telling you, it sucks.
John,
but it is what it
whose-
is. We'll be ready for
whose-
the Lightning.
Whose fault is that, though? I just want you to answer the question. I don't want
It's
excuses.
nobody's fault.
It's not. It's not the
It's
Canes'
nobody's
fault,
fault.
for not
It just
winning.
kind of happens. It is what it is.
Okay.
So wait, the two of us have both said the Canes are the better team, right?
Yeah, thank you.
You haven't dominated a single game in this series, and you're confident that you're not going 7, that this is over, that you're down 3-0 in game 4. You're just going to turn it on when the plane touches down
Very,
in Carolina.
very confident, yes.
No, I don't think so.
100%.
I think the one thing, John, that you guys are lacking is a dominant win. And let me explain why I say that, and then we can move on. So Carolina wins game 1. They win by a goal. They win 2-1. Carolina wins game 2. You win 2-0, but let's be real. You won 1-0. It was an empty netter, and you and I both agree empty netters. When we're talking about the final score, yes, they count on the physical score sheet.
They mean
You and I
more
both
pathetic.
agree.
They mean more pathetic. They
Right.
mean less for the game.
Right, but that's my point. Exactly, though. This is a good comment by Matt. I do
It
agree.
is dominant. You shut somebody out. You
No, he didn't.
literally did not let them score.
He just said isn't dominating. Just means both teams
thank
struggle
you,
to
but
score.
doesn't.
So
mean
anyway,
that
back to
he's
my point
right.
though. Back to my point though. You and I would agree that an empty netter, yes, it counts on the score sheet, but in terms of the overall play of the game, it doesn't really mean anything, right? You would agree with that. It's an empty netter. The score really was 1-0. You guys just sealed the deal with a 2-0 empty netter. You would agree with that though, right? That's a fair statement.
Yeah.
So far, the Canes have won 1-0 and 2-0 and 2-0, but really 1-0. The Rangers, I admit, game 1, they had an empty netter, so I know that. So while the final score was 3-1, They really won 2-1. I'll admit it. That's fine.
Right.
Same as the Kings. Empty netter goal. It's got to go both ways. That's fair. But right now, the Rangers are up 3-0 after 2 periods. After 2 periods, John, they are finally the team in this series to actually have a dominating play. No team in this series has ever been up by more
just
than,
like the Celtics beating the Heat last night. I'm not
no
worried.
team,
Not worried.
excluding empty netters, has been up by any more than 1 goal at any given moment in this series. Again, I'm excluding empty netters because we agreed those are,
Correct.
That's not a real fair judgment of play.
I go from game to game.
But no team has had a dominating win and dominated another team up until this point because nobody had been up over another team more than 1 goal until today. The Rangers are up 3 goals, no empty netters, no nothing. So it's 3 legitimate goals that we agree on that I know they're fair. They're, again, the empty netters we're excluding for this purpose at least. This is the first time a team has been up by more than a goal, and in this case, is up by 3 goals. I'm not saying the Rangers are the better team. I go from game to game. But, John, then you can't say you're going to guarantee dominating Game 5. You have absolutely no basis to say.
I already know going back to Carolina, we'll be revved up, ready to go.
No.
Wow, that's the most cliche garbage I've ever heard in sports. John, you've got to do better.
This is it right here. John, you're playing Antti Raanta. He's not as good as Igor Shesterkin. Shesterkin is getting in a groove right now. He's playing better the last few games. He's been playing well this series in general, but he's got a .920 save percentage on the series, which is much better from last series. He looks better. He's playing better. His team is playing much better. I'm not saying we're winning the series. Nobody's arguing that. But if you really think you're winning a game on the road at Madison Square Garden after how atrocious you have been on the road and how incredible, mind you, the Rangers have been on the road. They've only lost the 1 game in a triple overtime. I mean, anybody could have won that kind of game against Penguins. But even still, that's fine that we count it. They have been the much better team when they're at home against everybody. They have been incredible at home against anybody in these playoffs. I think it goes 7 based on what I've seen. I think I originally said 6. I'm saying 7 just because of that. But it's time to move on. We've spent 20 minutes talking about my team and John's team. We gotta talk something else. I do want to talk a little more hockey, just a smidge, and then JB, we'll throw it over to you for some basketball. I know you want to talk about that. I just want to quickly touch on 2 things. First of all, I want to start with the Oilers Flames series. I don't know about you guys. I'm not surprised at all with anything I've seen. The Oilers are a good team. Don't get me wrong. They're leading 2-1, which is good for them. But I gotta be honest, it just watching it feels like the Flames are truly the better team. There was a comment I made last week about goaltending. Do you guys remember what I said? Do you happen to remember what I said by chance?
You mentioned the Flames goalie is a Vezina finalist.
Yep. And I also said
goaltending matters.
And and it does. And the other thing I said, in case you may have not remembered, I said I would take any other goalie over Mike Smith in these playoffs. Now, I give him credit. Game 3, he played very well and gave up 1 goal to the Flames. But in the other 2 games, he's been awful. Okay, he gave up 3 goals in Game 2, which wasn't his worst game by any means. The Flames still, I mean, they scored 3 goals. He had a decent night in net. That's fine. But Game 1 was an atrocity if you watched it. He let up, I think it was 3 goals on 9 shots. 1 every 3 shots was a goal. Look, Mike Smith has improved over these 2 games. That's fine.
Is that the former Coyotes goalie?
He's like 40-something. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I stand by my choice to say that while, yes, the Oilers are winning, and yes, they seem to be playing a little bit better right now, any day of the week, I would choose literally anybody. I would choose Antti Raanta, the Canes goalie right now, who has not had a good last 2 games. I would easily, and he's a backup. I would easily choose him over Mike Smith. Mike Smith is. I don't know why the Oilers keep throwing him out there. I don't understand. I don't get it.
Because this is
Maybe
their
they
team
don't-
this year.
Yeah.
But
Maybe
why
they
do
don't
they
have a
keep
better
bringing him
option.
back every year? I don't understand this. He's
I
don't
not
either.
a good goalie.
I don't get it either, but it's their
I
team
just-
right now.
Yeah, he's not a good goalie. Like he doesn't do anything that says, "Oh yeah, I'm worth starting." I don't get it.
He had some good years with the Coyotes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Back in the
He
day,
was
but
Yeah, but that was a long time ago.
But I mean, his first round, game 1, 4 goals given up. Game 2, posts a shutout. Game 3, gives up 2 goals, has a good game. But then game 4, gives up 4. Game 5, gives up 5.
He's
Game
just
6
not
gives up
consistent.
2,
Yeah.
and then game 7 gives up 0. He's a very inconsistent goalie. And then he has games like game 1 where he explodes and lets up 3 goals on 9 shots and immediately gets pulled. And then even in a game 2 win, still lets up 3 goals. Mike Smith.
Yep.
I don't understand it. I just had to say that because
It
I
just
made that
means they're
comment.
not winning the cup.
No,
That's all.
and even if they get past this round, no chance. I will say that series has been incredible. By the way, I wanted to quickly bring that up because I said I would pick anybody over Mike Smith, and in game 1, he proved exactly why I said it. Because on 9 shots, he left 3 goals. I was hanging out, I was watching the game, and all I could think was, man, he sucks tonight. This is exactly why I said what I said. And then real quick, I don't recall our predictions. I believe we all picked the Lightning.
Yep.
I don't think any of us saw it being a sweep.
no. But
I
I think I
that,
said 5. I think
we
all
knew that
said 5.
we knew Florida wasn't going to be much of a.
No, but wow. I mean, you want to talk about domination for real. I mean, we disagreed on the domination we were discussing between our teams, and that's its own separate argument. But this was domination. The scoreboard may not show domination. The games were not. It was 4-1, 2-1, 5-1, and 2-0. So half the games were not, out of hand by
Florida
by
was
any
never
means.
in this series.
But right,
Never.
the scoreboard in 2 of those games does not show a complete blowout. I mean, 2-1 and 2-0. But man, that was rough. I mean,
This
look,
Florida team reminded me of that Steelers team from a couple years ago that was 11-0 to
Yeah,
start their
I mean-
season, just like we had talked about whenever that happened. And I mentioned then, and I'll mention it again, it was a fraudulent team, just like this Florida team.
John,
The
we've
whole
seen
year,
some,
I didn't believe in this team.
John-
I didn't believe once they got pushed, like the Lightning pushed them, I didn't think they would have any fight back, and that's what happened.
I mean, John, look, we've seen some President's Trophy winners. We've seen some pathetic stuff happen before. This may land near the top.
The
Just-
top for me was
Oh, I
the
know what it is.
Lightning getting swept by
Swept
the
by
Blue
Blue
Jackets in the
Yes.
first round.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying it's top. No,
Yeah.
that will always be, to me, probably in the most recent memory, the most pathetic by any President's Trophy winning team. But this goes up there because for a President's Trophy winning team to not win a single game in the second round is, I mean, it's pathetic. And, when you look at who they played in the first round, they played the Caps and nearly lost to them. And I say that because the Caps are not a great team. They're a good team that, based on their division, were good enough to make it in still because they do still have some
Well,
star
that's because the
power.
rest of the division was terrible.
Right. It's a top-heavy division where I would say the top
Well, they
4
were a
team-
wild card team, but every team
Right.
under them and the Bruins was just awful.
But I'm just saying, our division, I would say the top 4 are all pretty solid teams, and I'm including them in that top 4. The Islanders were just bad this year. But I would say
GD.
I would say those top 4 being Rangers, Canes, Pens, Caps, all solid teams. They're the 4th team, no question.
They just aren't.
And the
They
fact
just-
that they pushed the Panthers to the brink of elimination, they nearly eliminated them.
That reminded me of the Suns.
it
When
went
the
6
Suns got pushed by the
it-
Pelicans, and then they got pushed by the Mavs.
I mean,
and
John,
Mavs-
it went 6 games. It should not
Right.
have gone 6 games.
Yeah.
It should have been a 5-game absolute maximum. The Panthers didn't impress me then.
Nope.
Just
I thought they were going to lose that series.
Yeah, at one point I thought that too, and that's my point. The Panthers have got to be one of the most pathetic President's Trophy, overall playoffs that we've ever seen. Again, not the top, because for me, I agree the Lightning are number one, but this was pretty bad. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that, but man,
No, they got swept and they don't deserve much airtime. So
yeah, that was pretty bad.
Bye Panthers.
Yeah. All right, we'll be right back. We gotta. What's up, Jimmy?
Ugly. No, it was ugly. There was no reason to even waste time talking about it.
I agree.
It's like talking about Carolina doing well this series.
Oh boy! All right, we'll be right back. We got to run a short promo for DBNA TV, and then we'll be back to discuss some NBA playoffs with JB.
If you have a business, company, or product, and you want to reach the right audience, contact DBNA Television. DBNA TV reaches over 100,000 viewers a month and has advertising plans for all budgets. You can see your ads running on Roku TV, Amazon Fire, On Demand, and dozens of other top platforms for only $1 a day. Call our advertising sales department between 10 a.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday, at 484-695-5187. That's 484-695-5187. Make the call and then watch the results. It pays to advertise on the DBNA Television Network.
All right, JB, we are back. I know you want to talk some playoff basketball. It's the other important sport, the other real relevant sport right now. So, JB, you, sir, take the floor. What do you got?
So, I mean, this is another thing, not much to talk about as far as out west. Why bother? Golden State is walking through Dallas. I mean, Dallas got lucky to get here anyway.
Agreed.
So, but let's not waste time talking about a series that's 3-0.
I'll say this really quickly, JB. I personally think that what we're seeing with this is very likely what we may see in the next round of the playoffs in hockey. It may not be as bad depending on who advances. If the Canes advance, it may go to 5 if they're lucky. And I don't say that, John. The Lightning are a much better team than you. My point point is this: ultimately, it's going to be the same thing in hockey this year, most likely. The heavily favored team is probably going to crush the other team because the other team is just simply not as good. But you're right. The Mavs don't even deserve to be there. I mean, Golden State
Mavs and the Canes are not even the same.
I'm not comparing that, but I am
not
comparing.
Even close.
But what I am saying, the Lightning and the Canes, the Lightning and the Warriors are on that caliber, which I mean an experienced team with a couple of championships under their belt and a team that is just, they're a perennial.
We'll see in the finals, Golden State. We'll see.
They're an option for a championship.
Listen, when Boston gets to the finals, it's going to be a great series. We're going to see what Tatum and Brown can do. Miami can watch and go clubbing and enjoy
Game 5 in our back pocket, JB.
Right, they're going to dominate Game 5. I've heard this story before with Carolina.
I feel like I've heard this one before, JB. Maybe
you don't have to even tell us anything. We already know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, they're going to bounce back. They're going to play really well at home. I don't want to hear it.
Well, that's because you guys aren't in the playoffs, so you can't hear it.
Excuse you.
Maybe
I am in the playoffs.
Get into
watching
the postseason, so that way you can.
John, I am in the playoffs. My team.
in basketball.
My team was in the playoffs.
John, I'm
Your
a Knicks
team's
fan.
not in the playoffs, JB. Because you're a Knicks fan. They weren't in the playoffs.
No, he's not.
I'm a Nets fan.
He's a Nets fan.
What? You're a Knicks fan last year.
No, he's not.
This guy.
JB has been a Nets fan as far as I've always known him. I'm the Knicks fan, and I'm the first to admit I have a tier. It is baseball and hockey, and really baseball, hockey, and football. Number 1, 2, 3, just
and
squeezed in
all the way
tight.
down in
And then basketball. Excuse me, it's all the way on the bottom, just kind of hanging out. I watch it. If there's nothing else on, I'm more than happy to watch the Knicks. I always watch for the score. But I admit, I'm not the biggest basketball guy. So you can tell me my team's not in it. John, I'm not going to cry about it. I don't care. I mean, it's not that big of a deal to me. It's really not.
That's right.
Yeah.
Just saying.
But
anyway,
I think
this Game 5 story, I heard the song and dance.
The
Heat pocket, right in the back pocket, Game 5.
The Heat Celtics series is probably the best series in the NBA, probably the playoffs.
Oh, easily.
Which is sad because nobody really wants to watch it.
I mean, JP, there's not much competition for the best series though right now. I mean,
The Mavs and
I was gonna say you got
terrible
what's the competition right now? One other just pathetic series that nobody wants to watch. I mean, that's not much of a competition, but I do know what you mean.
Back last round with the Suns collapse. I mean, that could have been the best series if they didn't collapse.
Golden State and Memphis would have been a lot better series if Ja didn't get hurt as well.
Yeah,
but Golden State still. The thing with that is Golden State almost. I would say 99 times out of 100 would have come out on top.
No, but the series itself,
I know,
would have been a better series to.
No, I don't disagree. But I'm just my ultimate point is
Ja doesn't get hurt.
My ultimate point is that the winner of that series doesn't change, which is the only thing that's like, but maybe we get a 7-game series, which is nice, but the winner doesn't change, so it's a little.
But you guys were talking about exciting series and series being boring. That series was boring because, Ja got hurt and then it kind of lost its.
No, I don't disagree. I'm just saying. But anyway, I mean, this is the problem with the NBA. I feel like we see it every year. This is why I hate draft lotteries. The worst team is not guaranteed the first pick. It's just. I hate
draft lotteries are just dumb.
I mean,
it's easy to rig them if you really want. If you're a league, I'm not saying any league does, but it's really easy to do it. I mean, now there's no ping pong balls, right? They just kind of do this lottery thing. I mean,
it's silly.
Like it's very easy to rig if you really would like to. I've never been a fan of this draft lottery stuff. I feel like if you're the worst team,
no, it's a fix.
I feel like you should,
It's always been. I mean, think back at it. When the Knicks got Patrick Ewing, they said it was a fix. The only one that probably wouldn't be a fix is New Orleans getting Zion.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's not a big market when it comes to basketball. So yeah, I get
you. And they were expected to get him though. Like the other, it was pretty obvious that they were going to get him almost guaranteed the whole time. But I mean, it's just I don't know. Granted, it didn't matter in this instance, but a team like the Warriors had one bad season and they got a number 1 overall pick.
Yep.
Granted, it doesn't matter because in this instance, in this moment, Wiseman's not even playing. He's not. It's not like he's recording minutes and at least being on the court. Nothing's happening, obviously.
No, right.
So it doesn't matter. But ultimately, things like that, when you have the Warriors who just were bad because of injuries, win the lottery because it's just that. It's a lottery. That's something that's why I don't love it. Basketball needs to get rid of that because the way it's currently set up, the worst team could still end up with a lower pick. And that to me just doesn't make sense. It's not a recipe for fixing their franchise. Yeah, they'll still get a top pick probably, but the pick the difference between pick 1 and pick 3, even the player disparity could be huge. You could be looking at a guy like LeBron versus, a guy like, I don't know, RJ Barrett. I mean, you know what I mean? Like RJ Barrett is a great player right now. He's a great young star. But it's not LeBron James at number 1. Right. You're not going to get that option.
Not even close.
So yeah, right. So and it's pretty obvious who you would pick with the number 1 pick if you know everything. So that's my concern with this is I don't see we're going to see much of a difference if this keeps up because the best teams are just going to keep doing their thing. No, the worst teams are not guaranteed to improve.
It's just a horrible way of. It's just I think the draft lottery has outlived its usefulness.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, in theory, it's a great idea, but you could have, like I said, you could have a team that, like the Knicks, who are actually an even better example more recently, to get RJ Barrett, they moved up quite a few spots. They shouldn't have been in a position to get RJ Barrett. I believe they were, a lot lower. And you know what? Even to put it in hockey terms, I mean, the Rangers a couple of years ago, 2020 playoffs, I believe, when the Canes played the Rangers. That was 2020, right?
Yeah.
They ended up getting the number 1 pick and get Alexis Lafreniere, who is playing for the Rangers, is playing quite well right now. Same concept. It's baloney. It shouldn't happen. A team that, technically speaking, made the playoffs, got the number 1 pick. I mean,
I also think that was Rangers are a big market
It could have been,
I
but
think it's the same thing.
But even still, even if it wasn't, even if somehow by some dumb luck it wasn't rigged, again, by dumb luck it wasn't,
Right.
which I'm not arguing that it wasn't. Stupid, because a team that was in the playoffs, even though it was
Shouldn't get.
even though if it was a play in, it doesn't matter. It's still a form of playoffs nonetheless. They shouldn't be even in contention for the number 1 overall pick. Yet
Not
they got
even
it.
close. Yeah.
And that really, to me, I think is the perfect example of why draft lotteries are just a bunch of baloney. But anyway.
Yeah. So let's move on to football. What do you guys think about this Pro Bowl news?
I'm not opposed to it. I got to be honest.
I'm just curious what you can do with it. I mean,
I'm not opposed to getting rid of the Pro Bowl, though, because seriously.
Who watches it?
I mean, like, I'll throw it on just because it's one of the last days of football, but I don't really pay attention. I'm not sitting there with my eyes glued to the TV.
I've never
like
watched
I watch another
a Pro
game.
Bowl game. I've never watched a Pro Bowl game.
For me, it becomes
just
background noise. It's background.
Yeah.
It's not like legitimately watching.
There's no reason to. Like, what? But what's the alternative?
Just canceling it. And just naming first all-pro teams. They don't need to play a game for it.
I mean, at least in baseball, they make it, somewhat exciting. Like, there's a home run derby. Okay.
Yeah.
People tune in to watch that. Like, I'm the first to admit, I love watching the home run derby. It's actually one of my favorite, I would say one of my favorite all-star game / all-star events in any sport.
Yeah.
I love that. Hockey, same thing. They have some really awesome events. They have speed skating stuff. They have hardest shot. They make it entertaining that it's worth watching some of the stuff that they do.
Interesting things, yeah.
Right. They make it worth watching. Basketball, I'll throw it on sometimes, the All-Star game, but it's kind of like football. It's just not that exciting. They don't care. And the events leading up to it are not that exciting. So for me, if football adopts the approach of, hey, let's televise more events and try and make it more exciting, maybe that's a good idea, but they already do that and people just don't care. It doesn't have the same intensity and excitement. Yeah, it's not as exciting.
They tried that this year with events and it just didn't seem to hit. I don't know what else you can do, like, unless you do what JB said and just get rid of the thing.
Get rid of it. Nobody wants to see
the
it.
time and money, and you don't gotta fly people out, and
you just give the players the week off, and I'm totally cool with keeping that week.
And then you don't have players that are in the Super Bowl lose their Pro Bowl status,
right?
Because if a player, for example,
it's on a contract year.
Well, I'm saying, a player like, say, Patrick Mahomes makes a Super Bowl, he doesn't get a Pro Bowl on his career Pro Bowl stats. He does not have a Pro Bowl appearance for the year he makes a Super Bowl.
Right.
But does anyone really care about the Pro Bowl?
No.
I don't
But what
care.
I'm saying,
I don't care if Joe Montana has 0 Pro Bowls. It doesn't make a difference. He's still Joe Montana.
When you look at a Hall of Fame career, the number of Pro Bowls do matter. Whenever
he makes a very good point.
They do come up. And so if you're looking at a player that's on the edge of getting in, if they have one less Pro Bowl, that does make a difference. So if they got to a Super Bowl in one of the years or 2 of the years they were in the NFL, they have 2 less Pro Bowl appearances because they were in
so Tom Brady is screwed then because he's got 10 Super Bowls.
I didn't say Tom Brady.
He's talking about on the fringe players. He does have
players that are on the bubble of Hall of Fame. Those number of Pro Bowls make
it's your job if you're a voter to know that the guy would have been a Pro Bowl player that year.
That factors into voting.
Then you shouldn't be a Hall of Fame voter.
It's how it works.
Hall of Fame voters are stupid to begin with.
It's how it works. It's part of the process. Is you add all of their resume, and part of their resume is whether you.
No, it's not. It's a subjective vote.
That is part of the voting process.
You're going to tell me that they have to follow a criteria to vote for somebody?
That's how it works.
Yes or no?
Yes, that's how it works.
Really?
I'm not saying I would do it, but when you're a voter, you're expected to follow. I
would have to agree with John. There is.
I'm not saying I agree with it, but that's how it is.
It's all subjective, John.
Well, that's true too, but he does make a fair point.
That's how you do it as a voter.
And as a voter, it's your job to know that whoever, maybe Patrick Mahomes, would have been a Pro Bowler all of those years. It's your job to know that. Otherwise, you're not good enough to vote. If I ever become a voter,
then I will definitely make sure I have context into it. But I'm not so sure that there's context in some of these guys getting in. I think that they leave some of that out. I think some guys get in that shouldn't get in, but if I ever become a voter, I will definitely take that into consideration. But as of right now, JB, that's how this voting process works. You do know that the way some of this voting process also works, JB, is they take a beat writer from that team, and that beat writer
Which
gets
is
to vote.
baloney.
And if that beat writer has a beef with that player or a beef with the team,
Yeah.
guess what? That player might not get in.
Which is also
It's
just
stupid, but it's how it is, JB. Like I said, it's just how it is.
But that's like any vote, John. The same thing with the Derek Jeter vote. He didn't get 100% of the votes.
which is
Anyone that doesn't
baloney.
think Derek Jeter was a Hall of Famer never watched baseball or understood it.
Well, there are some times where it seems like there are voters that are just trying to make a statement for whatever reason and be like, I'm going to be the guy that doesn't allow anybody to have a 100% unanimous vote. Like, it seems like there are some people like that. I don't know why you would flex your muscles and be like, I have a vote and I'm going to show you. Like, I don't get that. This
Yeah.
isn't about you. This is about Derek Jeter or Edgar Martinez or whoever.
You have a responsibility when you have a vote to vote for the most qualified people. You're not there to make a statement. It's like the referees or umpires in a game. Nobody pays or buys tickets to see an umpire or a referee. You buy tickets to see the players. When you're voting for the Hall
Don't talk
of Fame,
about umpires. They're the worst.
when you same thing though, when you're voting for the Hall of Fame, you want the best people. If you think that person deserves it, you vote for him. Not because I don't want him to get 100%. Then you should have a vote.
That's stupid.
I want to throw this out there real quick. I gotta say it. Umpires are the worst officials in all of sports. Period. End of story. Sorry. Anyway, continue.
Well, umpires are great. What are you talking about?
Seriously?
I need proof why umpires are bad.
Oh God, JB. I mean, I got a perfect example.
How long do you have, JB?
Yeah, really. I mean, I'll give you the
only about
perfect.
10
No,
minutes long.
I'll give you the perfect example. Yes, it happens to be Yankee, but it's like one of the most notorious issues with umpires. They get the strike zone on Aaron Judge wrong so often, it is baloney.
See, strike zone is weird, but I'll give as long as the umpire calls it the same way all game, I'm okay with the different strike zone.
Right.
Then it's fine.
Right, but here's the thing. It's only on Aaron Judge, which is the issue. It's because his knees are higher, so his knees enter. No, I'm right. It's
You're
true.
out of order.
How am I out of
You're
order? They
out
call
of
strikes
order.
wrong.
Get him
I'm just saying
here.
it's a bad job when if the strike zone ends here, a ball lands here, it's not a strike. But because of his height, they call it a strike. I think that's a completely fair argument of how umps are screwing up. Are you really going to tell me I'm wrong?
Yeah.
But if they call that a strike all the time, it's consistent. I can live with that.
Thank you.
But it's only certain umps that get it wrong. That's the problem. Some umps get it right. Some umps can't get it right. Like it varies. That's the problem.
But does the umpire call it the same way all game every time Aaron Judge
only
hits?
on him?
Right, but is it called the same way every time he's at bat?
Usually.
Then it's fine. As long as it's
totally
consistent.
disagree. But that's not. I don't think consistently wrong is not a positive thing.
Derek
Jay
Cole
Boy.
is consistent
for the
you guys.
strike zone?
Consistently bad, but he's consistent.
For the strike zone, yes. Balls and strikes have to be consistent because when you're a batter, you need to know what you need to swing at. If you know that pitch is always called a strike, it's your job to foul it off.
Right, but so you're telling me a player should know that a certain ump is going to call it a strike or a ball on him?
They have a pretty good idea with all the video they watch.
Yeah, they have a pretty good idea.
They have a better idea.
He should think, oh God, JB, he's umping today. Well, I gotta know. He's going to call those
if when they watch their film,
they
keep track
that's
of
not the
certain
point.
umpires.
That's what the hitting coach does. That's part of the hitting coach's responsibility.
You're telling me he should expand his strike zone because the ump can't get it right and get the strike zone properly.
You don't got to expand it. You just got to protect.
You have to.
No, he has to expand it, John.
No, but you protect. You don't. You just make sure you protect your. You know what
First
I mean?
of all, hitters nowadays can't hit, so this is a very difficult concept. Fouling a ball off that's a little bit out of the strike zone.
Excuse me, Aaron Judge is having a very good season.
That's called protecting the zone.
Yes, he hit 17 home runs. What's his batting average?
I wouldn't know.
It's pretty good. It was over 300 last night.
That's a rarity.
Aaron Judge is having a very good season. I just told you.
But he hasn't gotten injured yet, and that's coming.
Aaron Judge is batting 325.
Don't you worry, Chris Paul
with 34 ribbies
get hurt
and
eventually.
17 homers.
Listen,
Glasgow, Anthony Davis.
Aaron Judge is no Frank Schwindel. He didn't go to St. John's University. I don't want to hear about
This
it. He's
guy
going to leave
dropped
the
a
Yankees.
Frank Schwindel reference.
You know, he went to St. John's, so I love Frank Schwindel. Now,
I like that name. That's why I said it. I like Frank Schwindel.
The best name in sports, and he went to St. John's University. Find out more about him with Confidential later. But anyway, St. John's.
Like all right, here we go. Really quickly, just
4-1.
2 seconds.
4-1.
Thank you, Deb.
But they call it consistently. That's all that matters.
You, Jack. Shout out to Jack.
Key.
Somebody I lived with at college. Thank you, Jack, also for backing me up. JB, you've had,
but not St. John's, right?
4-1. What?
4-1.
I have
but
no
not,
idea you said about St.
not St. John's, right?
I was not.
Aaron Judge didn't go to St. John's, right?
That is irrelevant. This right here. If you can see this, I don't know if you can see this. If not, I will show you. This is the strike zone right here.
Actually, no, because that's
this consistent. Is a ball.
Okay, but that's to every batter that's up. I don't know if they
did they call that a strike, Jake?
Yes, that's the point.
Because that's a borderline strike.
That's a ball.
You realize that box is not 100% accurate, right?
John, I also know that the ball is here. His knee. Go right across.
How did the ball go through the box, though? That's the key.
Also, did the catcher frame the pitch?
They probably did.
That's really close to the strike zone.
But, John, if the ball landed here when it went through the strike zone, that's what this is saying. His knee.
No, but it's not where the ball lands.
His knee.
But you're making it seem like, Jake, that it's 3 feet outside of the box. It's John, like an inch. It's like not even an inch. It's right there. Like, that's a borderline strike. I get it. But we see the box. The umpire doesn't see that gray box in real life. That's close enough to where you could be like,
here,
okay,
John,
that's
is this one better for you? Here.
Because plus the catcher can pull that ball up just a little bit to hit that.
John,
hit that
we're not talking about Angel Hernandez.
One landed down here, so it's all the way down here.
What did JB say?
It doesn't matter where it lands. It matters how it comes through the zone.
Yes.
What do you mean? Look at this.
Look at the arc. Look at
John,
the arc.
When it comes through the zone, it's coming in here. That's the point. This is before the zone, in the zone. That's exactly what this graph is showing.
And look at where the catcher's mitt is.
Yes, because he went like this.
He tried to. Sometimes you could frame it well.
That's another issue with umps.
Bring back that graphic.
Oh my God! All right.
Because I'm going to show you why you're wrong with that. When it went
I can't believe you guys are disagreeing about this.
No,
listen, I don't like umpires at all. But look, you see right here. You can't really see it, but right where the edge of the bottom is, if the umpire sees it as crossing, right? If he sees it crossing the plate as there, that's a strike.
Yeah, well, okay, that's the ump making a mistake then.
Plus, you have to.
You have to watch the pitch. Just seeing where the ball ended up doesn't tell me. I need to see the whole pitch.
And give me a second. I'll see if I can find any. How about that?
Arguing balls and strikes. I mean, unless it's like I said,
the hitter's job to listen. If it's close enough, it's the hitter's job to protect and foul off the ball.
Yep.
As long as the umpire is consistent. If they call that strike all day, I'm okay with it. Don't call it a strike in the first inning, a ball in the second inning, a strike in the third inning. No.
Don't call it on the Yankees, but then the other team you're giving it to them. Like, just
it needs to be consistent. That's all I ever ask.
Right, but my point is this:
if it's egregious,
it's not consistent from batter to batter. That's the problem. One batter should not be called.
Each batter has a different strike zone. It's just how it is with.
You're absolutely right, John.
But that's how it is with height and weight.
You just
and stuff
proved
like
it.
That.
You just proved it. Because here's the thing.
This is scary. I'm agreeing with John, and you're way off base in this one.
His strike zone, instead of being what this is, which is the normal, is brought down to this.
Then shrink him. Make him shorter.
That's not the point.
Something. Like
the fact that they're messing up is they're making his strike zone bigger just because he's taller. That's the issue. That's my point. That's an issue that umps are making. It's a huge problem. Umps call bad.
All right, get Rick Moranis in here.
Out,
honey,
above,
below.
Judge.
There you go. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. It's his fault for having long legs.
Okay.
Like,
so this is going all the way out to the Midwest. They are being consistent because he's saying they call it all the time. So if they're calling it all the time, it's
that's
consistent.
Not what I'm saying. I'm saying some umps consistently call them. Some don't. Some will call it a strike one minute and some don't. So they're not consistent.
Not all the umps. The umps in the same game. That's all I care about. 9 innings. Or if there's extras, we throw a coupler in there.
That is not at all the point.
Yes, it is.
I don't know what point.
Because
you're
between
making then.
no, the point is this: from ump to ump, his strike zone goes from the proper one to this back
Yes.
to this.
The strike zone will never be the same for every game, for every umpire. That doesn't exist. Then we need a robot, and robots will make baseball the worst thing in the world.
That's why we need robo umps.
No, you ruined the game. You need the human element.
You notice I just muted him. He got muted on that one. He doesn't even get it out of order.
You mean to tell me you don't want proper strikes and balls?
He's going to keep getting muted as long as he continues this argument.
And I'll mute you right back. How about that? Bam! I'm better than you. I got this.
Joe, thanks for tuning in to Sidelines. And commenters, really appreciate it. While these two.
Bam! Thank you, Deb. I love it. JB, you are
all,
being beat down by me and your fiance. What are you going to do about that?
I wouldn't say it's a beatdown. I think JB won that.
I think he's out of order. How about that?
Mop the floor with you guys.
And I think I run the show here when it comes to these graphics. So you're out of order. But
listen, when it comes down to it, listen, as long as the umpire and they aren't all consistent. I agree with Deborah on this one. She's 100% right.
You're never going to get like the same consistency between umpire to umpire. Each is different.
That doesn't work. But if an umpire can be consistent for 9 innings, the better umpires are. Their strike zone is always their strike zone.
Right, but my point is they're not always consistent in the one game.
But Jake, you're crying about like a little bit below the box. You're not like when you talked
John,
at
it's
first,
not a strike.
You made it sound like he threw it in the other batter's box.
John,
and he
it's
called it
not
a strike.
A strike is a simple concept.
Nobody sees. That's like you watching a game of football and you're like, ball got to the yellow line. It's a first down. No, they don't see that on the field. The refs aren't like,
they
got
should be
the yellow
trained
line.
to know where the strike zone is. They should have that kind of mental image because
there's
they know
no
it's
yellow
so well.
line in football.
I'm not asking about
in
that.
baseball, there's no gray box that's a strike zone.
But John,
there's human element to these things.
That's the problem. Because
that's a problem.
Umps are terrible. That's why I just advocated for a robo ump.
You're gonna throw a tantrum whenever they get it wrong.
No, I want them to consistently call across games.
Consistency. See, JB, he just gave you it right there.
I said I want, John. I didn't say
game, set, and match.
John, I said I want, implying that there is not consistency.
Well, you already got it.
What?
So on that note,
no, I don't.
Well, guys, it was a fun week. We ended on a good note. We proved that JB is right on consistency. When an umpire is consistent, they're great.
No,
I'm
going to tell you what we proved real quick, and then we can go. You proved that you don't agree with me, but you'll agree with what Deb says because you know you'll feel the wrath from her, not from me.
Go to Memorial Day foods because we will be back after Memorial Day.
Time out. JB, would you like to explain yourself? Is there proof that you said umps are not good? Is that so? Is that
but I didn't
my
say
point?
I said they need to be consistent. That's what I said. And that was the whole argument from the beginning. But I don't want a robot umpire. That's horrible.
Okay. I think you just got proven wrong by your own fiance.
I think once again,
you've been undone, sir.
I'm right, as usual.
Yeah.
Winner, chicken dinner. Like the Rangers.
Where can they find you?
JB_the program, 11 o'clock confidential. Tomorrow night, South Florida Sports Exchange. Monday night, NBA Carousel. Tuesday night right here. And everywhere else, sports are going on.
John.
Blue Hawks 13, you're going to want to tune in Monday and Wednesday nights for the Sports Arena, 10 Eastern Time. Check out all of our great content on Sideline Sports Network. Make sure you subscribe. That's a big thing. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out all of our great shows. We have shows every single day of the week, Sunday through Saturday. Shows every day of the week. Make sure you tune in. You are a strange
man. It's
Monday through Sunday.
Sunday through Saturday.
Monday through Sunday.
All right.
Don't give Eric his credit.
You guys can find me on Twitter at Jake_Malik. But more importantly, as you see scrolling across the bottom of your screen, Instagram and Twitter is Sideline Sport 1. YouTube and Facebook is Sideline Sports. We're on DBNA Television. We are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, TikTok. We're absolutely everywhere. Anything else? All right, real quick. Check out Eric Wilson, our man Eric, with John on the Sports Arena Monday, Wednesday, as John just said. Don't forget to check Eric Wilson out. On that note, everybody, go Rangers. We need robot umps and have a good one.
I like my